Latin America has had a foreign dependence for centuries. Goods, business, infrastructure, and, of course, since this is a Pliskin video, guns. Today we are talking about Argentina, and specifically, Argentina's attempt to break from this dependence on foreign firearms, with one of South America's first indigenously made rifles. So come with me back now to the 1980s and let's look at the story of the FARA 83. The FARA 83 was designed by Enrique Chichisola in 1981 for the national reorganization process, which was a nationalistic move to push Argentina away from being dependent on foreign powers. With that being said, this rifle was intended to replace Argentina's current rifle, the Belgian FAL. So the specifications were it needed to be lighter, take a modern caliber like 5.56, and be able to be produced in Argentina to go along with this national reform process. The FARA 83 is modeled after Israel's Galil rifle. It uses Beretta AR-70 5.56 30-round capacity magazines. It features a folding stock and has tritium in its iron sights, making it applicable to nighttime combat. It weighs around 8.7 pounds, has a 17.8-inch barrel, and is capable of firing just over 100 meters. This weapon, like the Galil and AK before it, is a piston-driven system and features a charging handle reminiscent of HK products like the G3 and MP5. However, the charging handle on this gun, like the Galil and AK again, is on the right side. There's only one game that I've come across that features this weapon in digital representation, and that would be Warzone / Call of Duty Black Ops, as the new rifle added in for the current season. In regards to how this weapon performs within the game, I'd have to say it's very inconsistent and forgettable. I can't tell if the FARA 83 is meant to be a close-range shredder or a mid-range high-damage weapon. It's very difficult to keep shots on target at full auto beyond like SMG ranges, and there are a lot of assault rifles that do both of these jobs better. For example, the new FAMAS that they added in is great for close range, and then the FAMAS from Modern Warfare is great at long to mid range. This gun feels like it's failing to do either one of those roles, and it's just forgettable. I mean, I'd still take this over the starter pistol, but this is not really a weapon that's going to be remembered in the Warzone meta. Stepping away from the meta and going a little bit back towards reality, there is one really unrealistic depiction here involving this gun, and that is the fact that you could stick all of these attachments and sights and shit on it. Now, in the 1980s, no one really used dot sights. That technology hadn't really taken hold yet. It was all iron sights, and customizing your rifle really just meant painting your gun. So the idea of putting on like a red dot sight onto the FARA 83, I can almost promise you and bet money that that has never happened in history, and there's probably not a FARA 83 out there in Argentina with a dot sight on it. Again, I'd put money on that. Another inconsistency would be the 60-round magazines that you can attach as you unlock more and more things. This isn't realistic because the FARA 83 has always been very picky with magazines. It doesn't take standard NATO 5.56 magazines, it takes the very specific AR-70 magazines. This isn't really compatible with a lot of guns, and I'm pretty sure that they didn't make any 60-round magazines for the FARA 83. So this is one of those rifles in history and even today that's what you see is what you get. There's no real customization options out there. There were never any FARA 83s, at least to my knowledge and to anyone's knowledge on the internet that I've researched, that feature Picatinny rails or any sort of customization system. So this rifle is very outdated by today's standards, and I doubt even now, never mind the 80s, but even now, you'd see a FARA 83 that looks like this. So why isn't the FARA 83 well known? Why is there only one game that features it? What stopped this rifle from becoming as popular as, say, the AR or AK? Well, due to economic recessions by the late 1980s, production for this gun ceased. It resumed in the 90s, however, due to the production costs, it never succeeded in fully replacing the FAL rifle. There was an estimated 2,000, maybe a little over 2,000 that were made, and it's only showed up in this one game because it's so obscure. I mean, if you talk to a guy who served in the Argentinian military, he probably knows about this gun. If you talk to Argentinians that know about guns in general, they'll probably know about this gun. But outside of Argentina, no one really knows about the FARA 83. It's used kind of like a secondary backup even today, in place of like the FAL rifle. So if there's not enough FALs to go around, someone will get this gun here, but it's never held center stage in any regard. And since it's not really that good of a gun in Warzone, I doubt it's ever going to hold center stage there either. So to conclude this video, I'd have to give the FARA 83 a mid-C tier in terms of ranking. Now, the magazines are obscure and not really that common, making this gun very picky in terms of what you can use it with. It's a little on the heavy side. The range for the barrel is kind of pathetic. To give you an example, the M16 has a 20-inch barrel and is capable of 550 meters. You can't tell me with a 5.56 round that just shortening the barrel a couple inches takes down your range that much to just over 100 meters. That's pathetic. That's not much better than pistol and SMG ranges. This gun's also obscured. It never really got like a chance to shine in the public light because not enough of them were made. So maybe this rifle has some great qualities, but you and I will probably never get to know them unless you're Argentinian and have access to these rifles. Very few people are ever going to get their hands on them or know about them. So even if there is some great redeeming factor, no one's going to figure that out. And then, I mean, to sum it up, it's just, this gun isn't bad. There's just better out there. You can get a Galil, which takes normal 5.56 magazines. You can get a Galil Ace, which takes a variety of calibers and a variety of different magazines. You have rifles that can shoot further, that are lighter. There's just better out there. However, I still felt like this gun was interesting enough, especially since we see it now actually being represented in a video game. It was worth talking about it, its history, why it failed, and it was just worth being on PLISKIN'S Picks. So with that being said, do you have any knowledge of the FARA 83 that I don't? Did I get something wrong? Are you Argentinian and do you have a lot to say about this rifle? By all means, let me know down in the comments below. But if you learned something, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.